very good evening. This is News First, prime time news on TV1. Today is the 23rd of January 2023. I am Jaima Ratnayaka for the News First team. Up first, your headlines.
Professionals declare Black Week to oppose new tax regime. Multiple trade unions take to the streets. Legal fraternity up in arms against repression of attorneys working to preserve judicial independence. University academics speak out against repression of democratic protests.
මේක ඊටාම දරුණු ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී පැවැත්මට කරපු ප්‍රහාරයක්. පවතින නීති ඊටාම නිර්ලජ්ජිත ලෙස අවභාවිත කරනවා.
GCE advanced level exam commences amidst continued power outages. Government fearful of having to dissolve parliament after local government election results. A statement from Professor G.L. Pires accepting postal vote applications ends today.
In tonight's top story, the Professionals Trade Union Collective declared a Black Week in Sri Lanka, demanding the government withdraw its tax proposal, which imposes a tax of 6% to 36% on monthly income of over 100,000 rupees. More than 15 professional bodies from the public sector formed the collective, and during the launch of the Black Week, they emphasized that trade union action will be launched if a reasonable solution is not provided.
The Ports Joint Trade Union Alliance, in a show of support for Black Week, protested at the Khan Clock Tower in Colombo during the lunch hour on Monday. Sri Lanka police and the riot police were stationed at the location. However, the protest took a peaceful turn.
If Ranil Wickremesinghe and his government do not listen to the voices present here, we will close down the port without any prior notice. One person did not listen to our voices during the struggle for the East Container Terminal. The first cannon to send him home was fired from the Colombo port. If they do not listen to what we have to say, the port will also fire the first cannon that will send Ranil Wickremesinghe also home. On the 9th of June, the port workers stepped out. Similarly, the port workers will take to the streets again if the tax law is not withdrawn. All the professionals will join hands in this struggle. We are ready to remove the Ranil Rajapaksa government and replace it with a people-friendly government. We will provide leadership for that.
The Government Medical Officers Association is also party to the Professionals Trade Union Collective, and it also extended its support to the Black Week. GMOA members at the Colombo National Hospital showed their protest by wearing black bands. Black flags were also raised at the premises of the Colombo National Hospital. The GMOA demanded that the government withdraw its unjust tax regime and solve the medicine shortage that is crippling the health service. The GMOA obtained signatures for a petition to urge the government to address these concerns.
We highlighted the means to solve the medicine shortage and the crisis. However, it was disregarded. There is no plan on when to solve this crisis. The medicine prices are rising at a rate faster than the depreciation of the rupee. A separate mafia is in operation and looting continues.
This was the public response at the Colombo National Hospital.
The diabetes strip, which was 5 rupees, is now 105 rupees. The injection, which was 400 rupees, is now 2,800 rupees. We cannot afford these prices. We are innocent farmers. I have never spoken to a mic before. I am expressing my pain. The situation is such that we will have to live on the streets. They are increasing the number of ministers, but there is no relief for us. I underwent a bypass surgery. I have to wait in line for my needs. The politicians do not love the country or people.
Doctors also protested at the Colombo North Teaching Hospital in Ragama. The GMOA obtained signatures for the public petition at the Ampara Base Hospital and extended their support to the Black Week. The Ceylon Bank Employees Union is a faction that forms the Professionals Trade Union Collective, and they handed over a petition to the President's office urging the government to immediately withdraw the unjust tax regime. Heavy security was in place around the President's office, and several trade union representatives were given the opportunity to enter the President's office and hand over the petition. They handed over the petition to an additional secretary to the President.
We made it clear that we need to discuss the tax and suspend the implementation of this income tax from this month's salary. If the government decides to impose this tax on the January salary, the Ceylon Bank Employees Union will support the trade union action launched by other trade unions in the country.
Bank employees were seen wearing black in support of the Black Week. The Federation of University Teachers Association is another faction that forms the Professionals Trade Union Collective. During a media briefing on Monday, FUTA commented on the police obstructions towards the march in Colombo last week.
This is a blow to democracy. The existing laws are being abused shamelessly. Using election laws to prohibit something that is not even remotely connected to the election is a gross abuse of the law. A majority of those who were seen were police personnel, and that costs a lot. On one hand, the government says it has no money. However, on the other hand, they are spending on suppression. This clearly takes away the validity of the government's policies. The Federation of Teachers Associations and the professionals are not against paying taxes. What we say is that the tax policy needs to be reasonable. The government is trying to use this tax to recover the money that was lost due to the ad hoc and corrupt activities of the previous leaders and officials, as well as the tax revenue lost to the country by awarding benefits to close associates. If they continue with this process, all professionals will take to the streets.
කියන කාර්යය මම මෙතනදී මූලික වශයෙන් මතක් කරනවා.
The minor staff across multiple government hospitals protested on Monday, citing several issues including the unbearable cost of living and the medicine crisis that has crippled the health services. The Joint Health Workers Union was supported by several other trade unions, and the main protest took place opposite the Colombo National Hospital.
This junta is trying to use the election to divide the people and avoid solving the issues of the people. They are trying to secure funds from the IMF and create a normal environment for a month or two by distributing coconuts and rice to the people. They are involved in a conspiracy to call for election in such a situation and reclaim power. We will not fall victim to those conspiracies. Bear in mind, the people remember the 9th of July.
The minor staff at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital in Kalubowila also protested.
The cost of living is unbearable. We cannot afford the transportation costs. Bank interest rates were unjustly increased. All the government hospitals fired the first cannon today. All the hospitals will also proceed to launching trade union actions.
The Joint Health Workers Union also protested opposite the Colombo North Teaching Hospital in Ragama, demanding an end to the medicine crisis and rising cost of living.
It is impossible to breathe in this country, let alone survive. What is the president telling the people? The prices of goods are increasing and the patients do not have medicine, but the ruler is saying there is no money. However, he has money to appoint new ministers and buy tear gas canisters to fire at the struggles. However, he does not have the money to secure the rights of the people.
A protest also took place opposite the Kegol General Hospital.
අපි එක සතයක්වත් මේ රජයට ණය නැහැ. අපි හැමදාම ඉතාම අමාරු තත්ත්වයකට ණය පොලිවාරික ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. අපේ සබන් කෑල්ලෙන් අපේ හාල් කිලෝ එකෙන් දරුවන්ගේ පතපතින් මේ හැම දෙයකින්ම අපි රජයට බදු ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි කියනවා වහාම මේ බැංකු පොලිය අනුපාතික අපේ වැඩි කරපු එක නවත්තන්න ඕන. එහෙම ඒවා තියෙනවා නම් අකුල ගන්න ඕන.
Protests also took place across multiple other hospitals, including those in Matara and Kalutara.
A group of lawyers protested opposite the Hulsdorf court complex today afternoon. This protest was organized against a B report that was produced to the courts by the Kesselwatta police regarding a group of lawyers who protested opposite the Supreme Court on the 18th of January against the conduct of the Attorney General's department. On Sunday, the Inspector General of Police called for a report on the conduct of the Kesselwatta police from the senior DIG in charge of the Western Province. Sri Lanka police said that the Kesselwatta police had produced a B report without the consent of the Inspector General of Police or the legal division of the police headquarters. The lawyers demanded an end to the attorney suppression and intimidation of judges.
On the 18th of January, the legal fraternity held a massive protest over the influence made on the magistrate at the number 8 court. Thereafter, there was an attempt to crack down on the legal fraternity. They had filed a list of names of the lawyers who took part in the march. They're trying to take legal action against 86 lawyers. We did nothing wrong. Our only mistake was to protect the independence of the judiciary. This morning, Sri Lanka police informed the chief magistrate that the B report in question will be withdrawn. However, that is a lie. The IGP is not aware who produced this B report. We will give the Sri Lanka police until tomorrow to withdraw this B report. If not, the legal fraternity will commence a fast unto death. If there is an attempt to crack down on the lawyers, that will be the end of Sri Lanka police and the government. Whenever the state officials try to engage in politics, there were issues. After they fall into trouble, they are only left with their spouse. Neil Hapuhinna issued a letter stating that the decision was reached by the cabinet. What happened to him? Politics is behind Sri Lanka police. We wish to tell Ranil Wickramasinghe, the OIC of Kesselwatta and the Attorney General that the legal fraternity is not a group that will hide in fear. If Ranil Wickramasinghe wants to clash with the legal fraternity, he will have to run faster than Gotabaya. Anyone who is a member of the legal fraternity for even a day knows the power of this profession and how it can give leadership to society. Just like Gotabaya withdrew gazettes, Ranil Wickramasinghe will have to withdraw the cases.
Thereafter, the lawyers gathered opposite the magistrates' court and marched to the Kesselwatta junction. IGP C.D. Vikramaratne had called for a report from the senior DIG in charge of the Western Province over the submission by the Kesselwatta police of a B report to the court against several lawyers who protested opposite the Supreme Court premises on the 18th of January against the conduct of the Attorney General. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Talduva told Newsfirst that the Kesselwatta police had produced a B report without the consent of the Inspector General of Police or the legal division of the police headquarters. The police spokesperson said that the senior DIG in charge of the Western Province was instructed to inquire into the matter and produce a report without delay.
Although the government assured that there will be no power cuts during the period of the GCE Advanced Level Examination, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has granted approval for 2-hour power cuts on Tuesday, the 24th of January. The power outages for tomorrow will be 40 minutes during the day and 1 hour and 20 minutes at night.
At the media briefing to announce cabinet decisions on the 17th of January, Minister Bandulu Gunawadana elaborated on a plan to provide a continuous supply of electricity during the period of the GCE Advanced Level Examination.
The minister was told to provide a continuous supply of electricity during the 14 days that the examination will take place. He assured of a continuous supply of electricity during the examination period. However, we need to source 5 billion rupees, which is 357 million rupees per day. That is the issue in power generation.
වෙනවා කිව්ව දිනකට මිලියන 357 බැගින් බිලියන 5ක් මේක තමයි විදුලියේ තියෙන අර්බුදේ.
Although the minister spoke of assuring a continuous supply of electricity, a power outage of 2 hours will be in effect despite requests being made by the education minister to provide relief to the advanced level students sitting for the examination. The CEB said that it will have to continue with daily power outages due to the high generation cost and the shortage of funds. However, the Public Utilities Commission said that it made recommendations to the CEB to not proceed with power outages during the period of the A-level exam. The chairman of the PUCSL, Janak Ratnayaka, told Newsfirst that the CEB had informed them that they are unable to execute those recommendations. The chairman of the PUCSL said that it is the responsibility of the CEB to discuss with all the relevant stakeholders for a continuous supply of electricity to ensure that the examination, which is of national importance and decides the future of the younger generation, is held successfully without any interruption. This was the response given by the Electricity Users Association.
The ministry who loves fuel is placing the children hostage to secure 6 billion rupees. The funding issue does not apply here. The people are finding it difficult to even pay the hike you imposed in August last year. This affects the results of the children who will be sitting for the examination. Don't hinder free education. Do not stop the creation of future intellectuals.
The National Bhikkhu Front alleges that power outages are yet another ploy to delay the elections.
These rulers have held the children by their necks. They want to cling on to power that they are losing. Therefore, this power outage is yet another attempt to delay the elections.
The Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka in a statement said that the children will be deprived of the right to equality enshrined in the constitution due to power outages. It added that the power outages would also hinder the right to education. The chairman of the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka, retired Supreme Court Judge Rohini Marasinghe, has instructed to take necessary measures to ensure there are no power cuts during the period of the A-level examination. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in a statement requested to put an end to power cuts that are putting the children's future in darkness. He says it is an arbitrary and rude decision to suspend the supply of electricity even on the first day of the advanced level examination. The opposition leader has also mentioned that such a decision does not come as a surprise because he understands the nature of the government. He pointed out that one can imagine how anti-people the government is if it's unable to provide electricity even during the crucial advanced level examination that decides the future of hundreds of thousands of children in the country. The Rajarata Citizens Movement engaged in a silent protest opposite the office of the CEB Deputy General Manager for the North Central Province.
I request the President to suspend power cuts during the examination period, slash the salaries of the 225 MPs and direct the money to the CEB to at least provide electricity until the examinations are over. They have ruined the lives of the seniors. Rather than ruining this country any further, allow the children to have a better future. We request the rulers to be more responsible without depriving the children of that opportunity.
How did the country run out of money to generate electricity? This is the question posed by the trade unions.
The minister says that it costs 5 billion rupees to generate electricity during the election period and for a continuous supply. 125 billion rupees worth of fuel was given on credit for the national airline. That's around $325 million. They are saying they don't have 5 billion rupees at a time like this. Former parliamentarian Hirunika Premchandra led a group to Golface Green, where preparations are being made to celebrate the Independence Day at a cost of 200 million rupees.
මේ රට අපි නිදහසේ සමරන්න පුළුවන් තැනක නෙමෙයි මේ පාලකයෝ දාලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ රට විනාශයට පත් කරපු රාජපක්ෂත් ඒ වගේම තමයි ඒ රාජපක්ෂල බේර ගන්නව රනිල් රාජපක්ෂත් එක්කහු වෙලා තවදුරටත් මේ දියත් කරන මර්ධනය මේ රටේ මිනිස්සුන්ට කිසිම නිදහසක් නැතුව ඔහේ ජීවිතේ ගෙවන්න දීලා තියෙනවා. ජීවත් වෙනව නෙමෙයි ජීවිතේ විඳවනවා. ඒ වගේ තත්ත්වයකට රටපත් කරලා තියෙන මේ රනිල් රාජපක්ෂත් රාජපක්ෂ නඩයත් මේ සියලු දෙනාම මෙතන හෙවණේ ඉඳගෙන මෙතන නිදහස් සමරන්න ලකලෑස් වෙනවා. මොකටද? කාටද ආචාර කරන්නේ මේ? මේ රට විනාශ කරපු මේ උන්දල ටිකට මේ මිලියන 200 වියදම් කරන්නකෝ. කණ්ඩ නැති ළමයි ටිකට කණ්ඩ දෙන්න. මොනතරම් මේ රටේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද?
A group of police officers visited the location and instructed Hirunika Premachandra and her group to leave the premises, and this led to a heated argument. Thereafter, the group crossed over to the other side of the road and dispersed after a while.
මහත්තයා බලන්නකෝ ඊයේ මේ උයන්නේ ලවුරුවා තිබුණා මේ ඊයේ තෙල් ටිකක් දාලා මෙරෙස් තමයි බැදලා තියෙන්නේ දරුවන්ට කන්න උයන්න කිසිම ලවුරුවක් තිබුණේ නැහැ මගේ දරුවන්ට ඔය බුබත්තටි මගේ දරුවන්ට කන්න දෙන්න ඇත්තටම දෙයක් නෑ පුදු මහත්තයා.
Those were the lamentations of a mother of two in Siribopura Hammantota. Her house isn't situated too far from a port, an airport, conference hall and expressway that were all constructed, accruing loan after loan. The father of the family is a potter, but illness has rendered him unable to ply his trade anymore.
කලින් කරේ නැති කර්මාන්තය මේ කිරිහට්ටි ගහලා මේ තමයි ජීවත් වුනේ මේ දැන් ඒ කර්මාන්තය කරගන්න බෑ මම රෝගී තත්ත්වයේ ඉන්න නිසා දැන් දරුවන්ට කන්න බොන්නවත් මේ නැති තත්ත්වයට මේ වැටලා ඉන්නේ රැට අලියනවා එළි වෙනකන් නිින්දක් නැහැ කටයුත්තක් කරගන්න බෑ කරන්ට් එකක් නැහැ මේ වතුර විතරයි අරන් තියෙන්නේ ඒකත් දැන් වතුර බිලක් ගෙවා ගන්න බැරි වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ.
Only one meal is cooked daily in this house. And that too is only to prepare a bowl of rice. Their daughter is still a toddler. The son is in 6th grade. How can children from a family that only consumes one meal a day even dream of succeeding academically?
තේකාට බොමන ඊරේ බීරකින් දාගත්තේ නින්දේ මගේ දරුවන්ට කිසිම බිස්කට් එකක් කන්න කූපි ලාම්පු වලින් තමයි ලයිට් උන්නේ
This family does not seek millions of rupees. All they hope for is a secure life.
News First with the people.
News follows after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
News First. Main sponsor.
Darden's Hospital, dedicated to you. Experience the best in healthcare at Darden's Hospital's new Alfred Place wing. We continue to evolve into a purpose-built hospital of the future, with an ambience built to deliver world-class care. Darden's Hospital, dedicated to you.
Sri Lanka's election headquarters.
The accepting of applications for postal voting for the local government election concluded today, the 23rd of January. A senior official at the National Election Commission told News First that the applications will be forwarded to the election office without delay.
All political parties and independent groups that will contest the local government election have been instructed to appear at the National Election Commission on Tuesday. This is the first time the National Election Commission will meet with political parties and independent groups after announcing the date for the election.
Election monitors warned that public property is being abused, given that the local government institutions have not been dissolved.
The local government election was called for 340 local government institutions that have not been dissolved. The abuse of public property is bound to take place. If you recall the previous parliamentary election, many candidates used the resources that were available with the local government institutions. If this continues, the local government election will reach a crisis.
Political parties continue to comment on the local government elections. The Samage Jana Balawege also convened a media briefing today.
The 9th is a historic day for Sri Lanka. On the 9th of April, the struggle was launched and we passed the events on the 9th of May and the 9th of June. The election is on the 9th of March. So on the 9th of several months last year, the government was toppled, the president was chased away and the crew was driven out. The people are no longer in a position for riots. The 9th of March will be the day that the people can democratically chase away all those with no mandate. We will wipe out the corrupt Rajapakshas that ruined this country as well as the murderers and the terror groups. We will also show Ranil Wickremesinghe, who has no mandate, where he stands. The 9th of March will be the day that democracy will be chosen to topple the government and direct the country on the correct path.
At
the beginning of the election process, our opposition looked at us with a hare and tortoise mandate. They assumed that no one from the SLPP, that has a majority of the local government members, will not contest. The 3,229 SLPP local government members will contest once again, and we will contest with a renewed common alliance under the symbol of the flower bud. The majority will compete from the SLPP. We made a scientific calculation and therefore joined with the other factions. That includes the UNP as well.
The Freedom People's Congress also convened a media briefing.
When the election results are released, there will be a massive call for the dissolution of parliament. The president will have the power to do so in March. There will be demand to pave the way for the people to elect a parliament that represents the mandate of the public. Because of this reason, the government is trying to delay the process using various arguments.
The lawyers of the struggle convened a media briefing today.
A group in the government claims that if the election goes ahead, the country will end up bankrupt, who depleted the reserves to a level that we cannot even have 5 billion rupees. They claim that there will be no money for food or medicine or other essentials if the election is held. Who bankrupt the nation? Ranil Wickremesinghe will never act against the Rajapaksa clan. Ranil Wickremesinghe is now depending on himself.
Ranil Wickremesinghe me mohote yapenne Rajapaksala hinda.
The Alliance of Trade Unions and Mass Organizations has declared the 9th of February as a national day of protest against the proposed electricity tariff hike, unfair taxation, sudden increase in interest rates and the rising cost of living. They also accuse the government of failing to supply even the most basic requirements, including an uninterrupted supply of electricity for students sitting for exams. Moving on, entrepreneur Dilip Javira believes a creative attitude is required for the country to progress. He expressed these remarks while attending the Aramuna conversational program held in Pitakotte recently.
The objective of the program was to discuss methods of overcoming obstacles faced by businesses during the economic crisis. A number of professionals, including entrepreneurs, were present at the program. An attendee posed a question to Dilip Javira during the event.
මේ ජාතිය කියන්නේ අපේ මේ රටට අපි මව් බිමට අපේ මේ රටේ ඉන්න සියලුම සිංහල මුස්ලිම් දෙමළ බර්ගර් ඒ සියලු ජාති.
The country is our ethnicity. The collective of Sinhala, Muslim, Tamil and Burgher people make up our nation. That is our ethnicity. That is a separate debate. Exposing corrupt individuals is a very traditional narrative. Usually, if a massive scam has occurred or is occurring and it is alleged that politicians are involved, those who are in power those who were never in power, those who were never in power but wield power, and corrupt political forces of all kinds should be responsible for it. However, it is a traditional narrative. That is a narrative publicized to garner applause and cheers from those at Galle Face. It is not something done by people who are truly seeking for a solution. Bringing wrongdoers to book has not been mentioned in any of the chapters of publications of either Karl Marx, Lenin, Engels or Trotsky. The reason being, this narrative is a traditional political concept. Since I know of the law somewhat because of my time at the law faculty and because there are several legal professionals here, they should be aware of legal science. We live within a legal system that includes the Roman Dutch law, English law and the South African law we sometimes refer to. We cannot catch corrupt individuals from the neck. There is neither a method to shoot them down. Therefore, it is a wrong narrative. If we want an answer, that is not what we should be discussing. We need to debate on how people became corrupt. I can claim corruption can be stopped in 3 months and that we have a program in place to achieve it, but that does not mean we can eradicate corrupt individuals. Since the dawn of humanity, thievery has been a human feeling. Jealousy, rage, hatred and thievery are human urges. If not, it would not be included in the 5 precepts. Why do we remind ourselves of it every morning and night?
සමාජයේ ආරම්භ වූ දවසේ ඉඳලා අපි දන්න දවසේ ඉඳලා මේ හොරකමත් එක මානසික හැඟීමක්. ඊර්ෂ්‍යාව, වෛරය, ක්‍රෝධය, සොරකම් කිරීම නැත්නම් පන්සිල් පද පහේ ඕක තියෙන විදියක් නෑනේ. අන්සතු දේ සොරා නොගන්නා බව. ඇයි මේක අපි දැන් උදේටත් කියලා හවසටත් කියන්නේ පන්සිල් මොකද ඒක කඩන නිසා.
Former Mayor of Kurunegala, Tushara Sanjeeva Vitarana, who was removed from his post, visited the Municipal Council earlier today to bid farewell to his staff. Former Mayor of Kurunegala, Tushara Sanjeeva Vitarana, was removed from his post by Northwestern Province Governor, Admiral of the Fleet Wasantha Karannagoda through an extraordinary gazette issued on Saturday. The governor had cited the defeat of the Kurunegala Municipal Council budget for 2023 as the reason for dismissal.
I do not accept the budget defeat. I acted as per the act. The municipal council that was lost by the SLPP was reclaimed by Johnston. The other leaders of the party have forgotten that.
Newsfirst correspondent said that special security was in place at the Kurunegala Municipal Council and its surroundings.
මාධ්‍ය මට ලොකු උදව්වක් කරා. මට ඇත්තට මගේ හරි වැරදි සියල්ල පෙන්නලා දුන්නා ජාතිය. මාධ්‍යයට මගේ උත්තම ආශාවයි.
According to the Department of Census and Statistics, inflation has dropped in December 2022. The overall rate of inflation as measured by NCPI on year-on-year basis was 59.2% in December 2022 and inflation calculated for November 2022 was 65% according to the Department of Census and Statistics. The Department of Census and Statistics went on to note that on a monthly basis, the year-on-year inflation of the food group decreased to 59.3% in December 2022 from 69.8% in November 2022. According to the National Consumer Price Index, the highest level of inflation in history of 73.4% was recorded in September 2022. Well-known apparel store House of Fashions issued a statement regarding the clash which broke out between its staff members and a customer at its Bambalapitia outlet on Saturday. A video of the incident was being shared widely on social media. Prominent Sri Lankan apparel store House of Fashion in its statement explained that the clash had occurred over a parking dispute. It noted that a customer had complained that his car had been blocked by another vehicle in the car park, and upon receiving the complaint, the branch manager had immediately attended to the matter. However, the statement explained that the owner of the blocking vehicle had left to a different location. The House of Fashion statement goes on to state that the customer had begun to heavily berate the head of security and manager in inappropriate language before physically assaulting the security in charge. According to the statement, the other staff members had intervened to break up the fight only to be assaulted back by the customer, following which the situation took a violent turn. The House of Fashion statement ends, and I quote, "We would like to apologize for any inconvenience caused to said customer and any other customers present at the store and feel that this incident has damaged our reputation and goodwill. maintained with our valuable customers. We would like to restate that at House of Fashion, always make the well-being of our valuable customers as well as our staff a top priority, ensuring our customers get the best at all times, unquote. Newsfirst could not identify the customer in the video to obtain a statement. However, we invite the customer to contact us and provide his version of the story. Moving on, the final stage of the Rotary Honda Purudu Champions, organized by the Rotary Club of Colombo Metropolitan together with the Ministry of Education, was held in Colombo on Sunday.
The final stage of the Rotary Honda Purudu Champions was held on Sunday with the participation of members of the Rotary Club, officials of the Ministry of Education and children from across the country. Artist Sangeetha Veeraratna, Niranjane Shanmugaraja, Michelle Dilhara, TV personality Danuvina Sithambi and Ioma Fernando were among the panel of judges for the finals. The project aims at teaching children good manners and habits in the form of songs. The president of Rotary Club of Colombo Metropolitan said more than 4,000 children participated in the competition at its initial stages.
The documentary titled Sirimavo by director Anoma Rajakaruna has won the award for the best documentary in the Women Filmmakers category at the Dakar International Film Festival this year.
The documentary captured the private and public life of the world's first female Prime Minister, Sirimavo Bandaranaike. The extended title, Our Mother, Grandmother, Prime Minister Sirimavo, encapsulates the tale as told by her two daughters, Sunetra and Chandrika, grandchildren Yasodhara and Vimukti, and two former officials, Dharmasiri Piris, former Secretary to the Prime Minister, and Nihal Jayavikrama, former Permanent Secretary, Justice Ministry. The film captures touching and tender moments hitherto unseen by the public eye, the Sirimavo in private moments as a mother and grandmother. The documentary also takes a look at the marriage between SWRD Bandaranaike and Sirimavo and illustrates that although it had its ups and downs, it was a strong and respectful one. Anoma's skilled core team was commended and awarded for compressing seen and unseen moments of Sirimavo's life, all into 77 minutes from reams of footage. The 21st Dhaka International Film Festival, held in Dhaka from the 14th to the 22nd of January 2023, embraces the theme Better Film, Better Audience and Better Society.
In international news, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said that Moscow did not want any scandals regarding joint naval drills between Russia, China and South Africa scheduled for next month. He was reporting to criticism surrounding the drills at a news conference on Monday during a visit to South Africa, one of his country's most important allies on a continent divided over Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Western attempts to isolate it. Lavrov said Russia had provided all necessary information regarding plans for the military exercises. He met with his South African counterpart in the capital, Pretoria, on Monday in what South African government officials have said is an ordinary visit, but deemed insensitive by some opposition parties and the small Ukrainian community. President Cyril Ramaphosa's government regards South Africa as neutral in the war in Ukraine and has expressed a desire to mediate. The government of India has blocked access to a BBC documentary that alleges that Prime Minister Narendra Modi played a role in the 2002 anti-Muslim riots in Gujarat when he was Chief Minister of that state.
The BBC documentary alleges that Modi ordered police to turn a blind eye to the violence. Kanchan Gupta, senior advisor to India's Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, tweeted that the government used emergency powers to block videos and even tweets on social media. He added, Facebook and Twitter have complied with an Indian government order to take down 50 posts which had links to the BBC documentary. The 2002 riots took place after 59 Hindus died in a fire on board a train. Modi was widely blamed for not bringing the riots under control faster and was banned from entering the United States until he became Prime Minister of India.
On to sports news. Yesterday, FIFA, the governing body of world football, suspended the Football Federation of Sri Lanka until further notice. Following this development, a media briefing was organised today by former chairman of the Football Federation of Sri Lanka, Jaswaruma, to notify the public of the suspension.
මේකේ ඊටාම පැහැදිලිවම කරුණු තුනක් සඳහන් කරලා තියෙනවා මේ රට වෙනුවෙන් කොහොමද මේ තහනම ඉවත් කරන්න කියන ජාත්‍යන්තර පාපන්දු සම්මේලනයේට අනුකූලව
3 points have been highlighted on how the suspension can be lifted. According to FIFA, the Sports Ministry must provide in writing steps that will be taken over the issues pertaining to the regulations. Further, it must also approve that the constitution we passed on the 22nd of September is valid. Full control of the Football Federation of Sri Lanka must be given to administrative officials immediately. There are people who are being remunerated to carry out this administrative work. The third fact is a new election must be held within the provisions of the constitution that were introduced on the 22nd of September. If these three requirements are met, FIFA and the Asian Football Confederation will lift the suspension. What should be done has been elaborated clearly.
විදියට සම්මේලනය මේ තහනම ඉවත් කරන්නේ ඉතාම පැහැදිලිව අපිට දීලා තියෙනවා මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් අද තමයි දැනුවත් කරන්නේ FIFAට අපි සෙලෙක්ට් වෙලා කියලා. ෆස්ට් ලියුම යන්න ඕන අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන්. නමුත් 23 එනකන් එයා ඒ ලියුම
The ministry has only notified FIFA today that we have been selected as office bearers. It should be directed to FIFA first through the ministry. But until today, the DG has failed to forward it to FIFA. The election concluded on the 14th. The media broke the news saying Sri Lanka was elected. But on the 16th of January, Jaswar had written to FIFA as the chairman. But FIFA is unaware that we have been elected. They still do not know. This is a group that has no job apart from holding positions at the FFSL. This is not a volunteering service. This is their job. I even spoke to the secretary. He suggested we resign because we cannot work with this group. We can develop football, but we cannot clash with people. We are working towards getting this suspension lifted. The HR head notified me that there is no structure. It has been this way for a decade.
මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් සෙල්ලම් කරන්න යනකොට ෆුට්බෝල් ගන්න යනකොට කාටද රෙඩ් කාඩ් කියන එක මට අදාළ නැහැ. හරිද? නමුත් අපි ඉදිරියට මේ බෑන්ඩ් එක ලිෆ්ට් කරන්න අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කටයුතු කරනවා.
Sri Lanka's Wanidhu Hasaranga and Inoka Ranavira have been listed in the ICC Men's T20 International Team of the Year and the ICC Women's T20 Team of the Year 2022, respectively.
The ICC Team of the Year recognizes 11 outstanding individuals who have impressed one and all, be it with the bat, the ball or their all-round exploits in a calendar year. Wanidhu Hasaranga continued to be Sri Lanka's talisman in a year where they reigned supreme as the champions of the Asia Cup. He picked up 9 crucial wickets in 6 games at the Asia Cup, but at the same time showed that he can do the damage with the bat, stroking a brilliant 27-ball-37 in the final against Pakistan to rescue his side. The wrist spinner weaved his magic at the T20 World Cup
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. Take care and stay safe.